Hello and welcome once again to the desk. In this case, back with Blender, continuing with making the retaining wall for my little diorama. So here we're going to be adding some buttresses to this, so let's jump into Blender and get on with it. Alright, so here we are back. Now what I'm going to do now, or rather what I want to do now, is make the support columns. So what I'm going to do, I've got a brick and a half brick. You'll see why we've got a half brick in a minute. I'm going to take this brick copy here, take it as an array. I'm going to come into this, constant, again, naught, what I want that to be is 2.92. That's that, and I want this to be 4 bricks. Now the reason I want it to be 4 bricks is so that when I put it over here it can stick out the back just a little bit. Half a brick, whatever, and it comes out the front fine. What I'm not attempting to do at any point here is get the actual bricks between the column and the wall. I'll deal with that slightly differently. So here we go. Yeah, so now I need that's one side. Now I need to do the rest of it. Now this is where life gets a little bit more interesting, because at this point I need to start putting half bricks in. And what we're going to have is a half brick sitting about there. Get it lined up about right. And this is because the way the bond works. Make another brick here. What I can do is bring this brick over, which is going to sit here. Now this side here needs to be 8 bricks. Now I'm going to have the 2 end ones because obviously I'm going to be duplicating that, which will sit over there somewhere. That'll be over here somewhere. There'll be another half brick near there. So straight away I've got 3 of the bricks there, so this just needs to be 5. So this comes in here as an array. Again, turn that off, turn that on, turn that off. 1.45 goes there, and I need there to be 5 of them. Like so. And this is because of the way all these bricks interact with each other. So actually let's give myself a duplicate of that. Comes up here, and again I'll just zoom in a little bit to try and get this to line up properly. I'm probably going to have to do a little bit more manual adjustments on this in a minute, but I'm not too bothered by that, because that is fairly straightforward to do. So that can come down there like that. Now we look at it from that side. You can see I've got a couple. There's a dirty great big brick wall in the background, but you can see the half bricks are there. That is essentially one layer of the wall. Right, so now I need to put the next layer on. So the next layer, duplicate a brick, and this is basically. You notice I'm not bothering to put the inner layer on here. I don't really need it. So what I'm going to do now is rotate that by 90, and again come down here and reset that. This now needs to be arrayed, so again we'll look at it from the top because it makes life simpler. Zoom that, move that around, array, and this has killed that. Go to constant offset, that, don't want that, I want that there, which is 2.92, which is there, and that needs to be 4 bricks. And that can be accept applied, that's fine. Speaking of which, I can actually apply all these other modifiers. It does work when you don't, but it can slow other things down from what I've seen. So I'll do that there. And this I now come in and set to about here. I need to increase the height. Basically increase the height so I've got the correct pattern. So we come into it like here, you can see the end, zoom out a bit. You can see I've got the correct pattern there. And what I need to be is lined up about where it needs to be there. Very slightly off actually doesn't matter. I mean you can also come into this and start randomizing various bits of brick. The rest of it looks good, so that's fine. What I now need to do is duplicate that, bring that over here, rotate that through 90, and again rotation and scale, and the first one we come over here like this. So this comes here. Actually, the easy way of doing this is probably look at it from the end. Height-wise, 0.95 gives me the correct height. I can just move it along there a little bit to give me the correct gap, like so. And I now want another normal brick, which again I can bring over here and again rotate. And again reset that just so the arrays behave the way I expect them to. Array that, kill that, constant offset, and here it wants to be 1.45. There we go. And that is going to go over here, and we'll end up with a half brick at this end, which I am actually going to have to do because obviously this will stick out at the top. So if I again do 5, I'm going to have to modify the top part of this tower slightly, but that's fine. Come into there, duplicate that, I can come over here, and over here, duplicate that. That can come over here. I am actually going to have to duplicate this layer as well, which I didn't think I was originally, but I'm going to have to, along with all of its other little bits. Like that half brick there, duplicate that. A lot of this you'll never see, but I'm going to have to do it, because if I don't, when I get up to the top, it won't work. So if I get rid of that bit there, I only use that brick. It needs to go to the end like that. That lot can go to the end as well. Now, this is where I'm going to have to. This lot here needs to come up as well. 0.95. There we go. That's that. And then that sits. That lot comes over here. I'll rotate round a little bit. I'll be able to see what I'm doing with them. So that goes there. That duplicate. And run to there like that. And you have the corners done. It's relatively straightforward. It's just a little bit time consuming setting it up. So if I do that over here like so, that can come up to there. This one, duplicate that as well. Up here. Now this obviously this is all going to be stuck together very shortly. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not bothering to build the inside. There's no need to build the inside of this. This is going to get a core. Right, that'll do. And now you can see I've got the pillar. Now what I've got to do now is join all this lot together, which is going to be slightly tedious. But there we go. So I'll start with that one. Add modifier, boolean, union. I will union that with that layer. And apply that. I've now got is that layer of bricks which I can get rid of. Go that, add modifier, boolean, yada yada. You get the idea. So I'll probably speed this bit up, and we'll be back with you shortly. Alright, so there we are. Now as that went through, obviously you'll notice the bricks change colour, because this is now, as far as the software is concerned, a single thing. So what I now need to do is modify this to be the correct height. So as you can see, I've got that. Let's just hit save again. So this is going to come down here, bring it across. Now this is where obviously you'll start seeing there's some of these bricks won't actually line up. They'll be near. They won't line up because obviously one of them is sloped and the other isn't. So we shall see. Add modifier array. Kill that. Going to be here. Constant. That. No. That. 1.8. Sorry, 1.9. That's that. So again, we can come in here and just check that's lined up correctly, and that looks alright. So what we now do is set how high I want that to be. 20. 30. So I want these columns to be a little bit higher than that. So if I go 31, a little bit higher, 32, that'll do. And then I'm going to put a capstone obviously on the top of that. And that is one of these. Now it's going to come back a little bit further, not a lot, but a little bit further. Basically I wanted about half a brick back at that side there. So if I do that, basically comes in a brick, looks about right. And then from this side here, looks about right. The bricks I actually want to line up at the top. I'm less bothered about them lining up at the bottom. So if I come in here like this, there's a little bit visual. Trying to line this up, so it needs to come up a little bit. So if I just lift that up slightly like that, that'll do. Right. And that now needs a mortar core adding as well, so mesh, cube, do that. And let's look at this from above. Do is put that about in the middle and go, I don't know, 10. 10 by 10 looks about right. Again, it's only really got to go in a little bit to get paint. And it needs to be the same height as that, which is 60.7. So come to this, that there. Not that cube, but there's another cube in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There, no, it's not that. That one. Cube 06, that'll do. So 60. And lift that up so that it covers the entire lot. These blocks in the middle are actually quite useful as well structurally. These will help bind it all together when it's printed. So that actually is going to go way at the top, a little bit off. So if I go 61, that'll do, I think. Again, I'll be chopping all this at the bottom, so we'll be alright. Just go up a little, so 60.5 should do that. And I've got that there, which is the pillar core, so I'm going to call that, rename that. So I know what I'm doing, and I will take that, I'm going to rename that pillar. There we are. So what I now do, duplicate that, put one of these towards each end, and do I want to array these? I actually do. That can go over to the end as well, like so, and these will both be arrayed. Do I array? Yeah, it'd probably be easier actually to do these by hand. Just purely for lining it all up, because what I need this here has got to go to about halfway off the end. So there we are, and it's going to need a capstone as well actually, isn't it? So what I shall do is grab hold of that, duplicate that, and make that 8 high, lift it up, and 12 12s, that will look about right when we do this. Oh no, it's about right because I'm about to stick it through the middle and it'll stick out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more than that. 40, 40, I think that'll do. And these are going to get a little bit of a pyramid shoved on the top of them eventually. Not modify, I'll just change the colour on that to that one. Again, it's a capping stone, so that's just why I want that to be on there, so I can see it. Now, I could leave that flat, but obviously in practice it wouldn't be flat. So what I'm going to do is, there is a modifier I can do with this, so I'm going to modify this. I have a loop cut, so I'm going to do a loop cut that way, and a loop cut that way, that'll do. What I now want to do is move. What I need to do is select that point there and lift it up a bit. 3 look alright. It was 3 a bit much. Now 3 will do. That'll do. There we go. And that doesn't appear to have done what I wanted it to. Why hasn't that done what I wanted it to? There it has. That's that, yep. So it's just... Ah, yes, no, I see why that hasn't done what I wanted to. Never mind, so we shall undo that. Object mode, I'm going to do this mode here. Yes, what that's done is it's subdivided across there, which isn't actually what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to drop that back down. Get rid of that, like so. And what's the easiest way of doing this? There is a way. If I get rid of those loop cuts as well, that might be the easy way of doing this. I believe if I do bevel, let's try. Let's select that face, bevel that. So we'll bevel that there. Width 1. Do what I want it to. That takes it straight to the centre. I want that to be a little bit higher, ideally. Oh yes, I know why. I know why that's done that. Right. Yes. I am still learning how to use Blender, it must be said. Control A, rotation and scale, do that again. Right, now go back into this edit mode there, and that's now going to try and bevel the edges like that. Isn't strictly what I want it to do. There is another way of doing this. Yeah. Let's, oh, it's because that's trying to apply a bevel to a bevel. That'll be why. So if I do that, undo that again. Right. So what I'm going to do now is just put a little bit of that on there. For a second, no. What I actually want that to do is come up to a point. I suspect the way I was doing it is potentially the way to do that, but we shall see. Edit mode, let's try this again. So if I put a way of doing this, loop cut that way, loop cut that way, right. And knife, not quite sure how best to do this. Yeah. Nope, not that last bit. That goes to there and to there, like that. Right. No, drop out of that, enter. I think it's that, yes. Right, now what I should with luck be able to do is select that there and lift it. Yes, and that's now doing exactly what I wanted it to do. So 3. So anyway, after a little bit of faffing about, that is how you put a capping stone on. So yes, I can cope with that. That looks quite nice. Right, now what I now need to do is get these where I need them to be. Now, I suspect the way to do this is going to be, as before, array it. Now there is another way of doing this, which is fit length. Now let me see if this works. Don't want relative offset, I want constant offset here, and we're going to do this in the Y direction, 10. Let's do it. Don't know what that's done. Right, okay, so I don't know what that's done, so I'm going to get rid of that. Fixed count, right. I now want 4 of these, and I don't want any offset in that direction. 50, 60, 100. That actually looks not far off right, actually. So if I look at that square on, it's not quite where I need it to be. So 100, 105, 102. See, what I'm aiming for is the apex of this point to be above that. So if I go 101, 101.5, that I think is near enough. So I'm going to apply that. I've then got that, and where I will apply, then add another modifier. So it's into here, kill that. That one. X is 0, 101.5. Let's see if this works. I want 4 of those. Oh, look at that, that works. Right. And I've got this here, array, kill that, constant, 0, and then there, 101.5. Ah. Yeah, of course, that needs that doing to it. Then it can have the array modifier added. So we come to this here, 0, 101.5 in there. 1.5 should fit, and I want 4 of those. Right, apply that. And that, my friends, is a retaining wall. So you can see here, this is from the side where the tracks will be. This is from the side where the road will be. Let's click that. Yeah, the rendering bit doesn't really work. I can go into that, which might show it a little bit more clearly. So there we have a retaining wall. Now that now needs to be saved. It needs to be sliced appropriately so that I can print it, and then we need to print that. So I'll be back in a minute, and we'll look at that. As with part 1, this has already got far long enough, so I think we're going to call it a day there. The next step is going to be adding the pavement to this, which hopefully won't be a massive video, and then I will be slicing this and we'll be getting it ready for printing. As always, likes, comments, subscriptions, whatever, appreciated, especially anybody else who knows how to use Blender a damn sight better than I do. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.